Hey everybody, Peach here, and today I'm going to be covering the Mikolo M4 Smith machine. Now, full disclosure, that company did send me the product for free in exchange for the review, but as you will see, that will not change the outcome of this review. Alright, so even though they call it the M4 Smith machine, it's not just a Smith machine. Like all these other all-in-one racks that everybody's been releasing lately, it's also a half rack and a functional trainer. So let's start the review. We'll work our way from the top to the bottom, from the front to back, and the good and the bad all along the way. But before I get into all that, let me give you the specs real quick. So the rack itself is 87.2 inches high. The width is 48 inches. The barbell on the rack, the Smith machine barbell, is 74.6 inches, and the rack depth is 70.9 inches deep. All right, so let's start by talking about the pull-up bar. All right, so as you can see, it's a multi-grip pull-up bar. You can put your hands here, 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 and out here on the rubber grips. Now, typically, I'm not a big fan of rubber grips, but these seem to be really locked in, and I don't think they're gonna twist on you. And they put knurling right here, but nowhere else. It's kind of weird, right? Why would you put just knurling here, but not here, 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 or out here? So I think it's kind of a weird decision, but it's a multi-grip pull-up bar and it'll get the job done. All right, now let's talk about where you're gonna be benching and squatting. You're gonna do it right here off the front uprights. And it does come with J-hooks and spotter arms. They claim that the J-hooks have a 1,000 pound capacity and the spotter arms have a 700 pound capacity. But here's the deal, even if I believe that, I don't trust it. And here's why. These uprights here, there's no way that they're 14 gauge steel in my opinion, okay? Now, the company claims that this is 14 gauge steel and the frame and everything else is 14 gauge steel. So, let's measure. Now, I popped the cap off here and this is measuring at 14 gauge, okay? I got my little tool here to tell me. That's 14 gauge and I'm gonna stick a magnet on it. Okay, and it sticks, right? Okay, I'm gonna assume it's 14 gauge steel. Now this right here, it's visibly thinner than the rest of the machine, okay? And by my calculations, it's not even 16 gauge steel. And a magnet won't stick to it, okay? So I don't think it's steel, and I don't think it's 14 gauge. So that's probably one of my biggest gripes with the product. There's no way in hell I'm putting 700 pounds on this and not expect that these uprights to bend. All right, now let's talk about the functional trainer. It has a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning 100 pounds will feel like 50, okay? It has nylon pulleys. It has a 101-inch length cable travel, and generally speaking, it feels pretty smooth. Now, what don't I like about it? Well, both handles are bent metal and it's crooked on both sides. It's not a perfect 90 degrees here. So it kind of looks junky. The handle here can easily become unscrewed and it's really junky. And there's lots of friction as you're trying to adjust because it's just a cheap plastic lining inside here, okay? And what else can I say? Oh yeah. There was damage to the weight horn right out of the box right back there. So generally speaking, it's not terrible, but it certainly isn't great. All right, now it does come with a lot of attachments. You get these plastic handles and you also get those spotter arms in the J-hooks and dip bars, leg pad, lat pull down bar, straight bar, rope handle, barbell clips, landmine attachment, band pegs, and a foot plate. Now, just like other all-in-one racks that offer these free attachments, none of them are top-notch, but they are all sufficient to get you started. All right, now let's talk about the Smith machine. It's called the M4 Smith machine, so you would assume they did a great job there, right? Wrong, okay? Let's talk about the finish to start. It looks like a cast iron pan that was spray painted with a rattle can, and the knurling is almost non-existent. But here's the real issue, okay? Unless you evenly distribute your hands across the bar, it kinks to one side. So if I put one arm up right? It's kinking on this side. Okay? Now, what if I do this, right? You can see this part's coming up, that's not. Okay? Let's do it over here. Same deal. It won't even go up. You have to evenly distribute your weight, okay, to even move it. And when you do, the guide rods have so much slop that it oscillates back and forth as you're moving it up and down. Okay, it's loud as hell and it just feels awful. Okay, I absolutely hate this. All right, let's talk about storage. So we have attachment storage, barbell storage, and plate storage. Starting with attachment storage, there's 4 hooks right back here on this rear cross member, and you can put things like your rope attachment and things like that on it. But there's no place to store your J-hook, spotter arms, T-bar, row handle, or dip bars. And I would like to see another cross member right here to be able to store those, okay? And this cross member would also prevent me from walking underneath here, which is important because these hooks are quite dangerous, okay? And they're already starting to rust too, by the way. And I hit my head on there and ended up needing stitches on the top of my head. So if they had another bar right here to store all those other items, I wouldn't walk underneath this and I'd be safe. All right, now let's talk about barbell storage. So there's 2 attachments to store barbells. So you can store 2 barbells, but there's no plastic sleeve in that attachment. So you're gonna have metal to metal contact and it will scratch up your barbell sleeves. All right, now let's talk about plate storage. So we have 3 weight horns on both sides for a total of 6 weight horns. Okay, it's got a plastic sleeve, which I'm not too concerned about, but the cap on the end doesn't look too durable and it looks pretty cheaply made, and I don't think it's gonna last forever. Now, one more issue I wanted to bring up is there's gonna be some conflicts between 450 millimeter plates between the components. So on most of these all-in-one systems, you're gonna have conflicts between the barbell that's on your front uprights and the Smith machine. So I'm not gonna fault them for that. Let's take that one off, okay? But as you can see, there's overlap between the plates on the functional trainer and the Smith machine. So you're gonna have to unrack one to use the other, which is annoying, okay? There's also a conflict between the plates on the trolley for the functional trainer and this top weight horn. So since I have a 10-pound plate here, there's no interference. But if I put anything bigger than a 10-pound plate, such as a 25, there is interference. Okay? Not ideal. All right, the Mikolo M4 all-in-one Smith machine. Now, if you watch this video and you still wish to purchase this product, my affiliate link for the time being is located down in the video description below. Shopping via that link will cost you nothing extra, and it helps support the channel. All right, that does it for this episode, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. So, be sure to subscribe to the channel to be alerted the moment the next episode drops.